But you know what? Let's rip the Band-Aid out now on this topic. Because, I mean, are we in? That's the question. Man. Because it's like, honestly, if BYU won the Big 12 title, then we would really have a problem. But because Texas Tech won the Big 12 title, I think we're comfortably in the playoff field. I'm thinking we're like a 10 or 11. Not really sure.
Yeah, honestly, I can't say because even with BYU not winning, you still have teams that's sitting on the outside, like a Miami, like a Notre Dame, that were all in the same cluster. That's the term that the committee has used over the past weeks, in the same cluster. And Miami now, they have two great points that they can use to their advantage, and those two great points are that Alabama now has a third loss, right? Uh, and with Alabama having the third loss, they fall down because Miami has a common opponent that Alabama played and they played, and that common opponent is Florida State. Miami beat Florida State. Alabama obviously did not beat Florida State. And then Miami has a head-to-head win over Notre Dame. So that's a team that was sitting on the couch tonight that needed a lot of help. That got that help through the loss of Alabama. And now that kid, you know, honestly, working Alabama's working out, it won't work in their favor. So you say they're comfortably in. I honestly think they don't control their own destiny. Any honest Alabama fan should whatever the committee does tomorrow, they can't be mad because the team with three rushing yards. I forget what fan said that. What viewer said that, but the team
Yale
with three rushing.
CCH.
Yeah, as Gail 68 said, a team with three rushing yards, they should have nothing to say about in terms of, hey, we should be this and that. You can't run the football. That's a complementary part of football. Every team needs that. A championship team needs that. You don't have to have the best running game in the world, but you have to have some type of running game. And they had -3 yards tonight. And you think about Alabama football and all the history that they have had in their history, all the great running backs that have come through this school. And tonight, I'm not bringing a knock to Daniel Hill or AK Deer because they had not having the services of Josh Cuevas obviously played a big part in that because he's a big part in pass detection and in running running run blocking and things of that nature. And they didn't have Jan Miller, but still the same. -3 rushing yards. Me and you had more rushing yards than them today. That is crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like literally, like that's crazy. So Alabama, in terms of playoffs, and whatever the committee does tomorrow, I like every Alabama fan, I want them in. Of course, they worked hard this year. This defense, I mean, the defense did what they had to do still today to me because the defense was still put on short fields today, and they still, I mean, defense can only do so much. The offense is still turning over the football. And then you see special teams is a disaster. So I mean, but whatever the committee does tomorrow, that's on them. I mean, I can't be upset. I don't think any true Alabama fan that knows football can be upset because the football that we saw today on the offensive side of the ball is not postseason football. So I don't think anybody can be upset from an Alabama standpoint if something funky were to happen with Alabama. But I'm hoping that they get the benefit of the doubt. But we've never seen a three loss team make the college football playoffs. So Alabama is up against odds right now. I'm gonna get into those odds later, but I'm gonna let you jump back into it, Jackson. But it's looking scarce to me. But yeah,
Well, well, we've beaten the odds before, like throughout our whole history, but at the same time, like we've not seen an SEC title runner up get left out in the 12-team playoff. And are we going to be seeing that tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central? That's going to be the question throughout the final rankings. Are they going to send a message? Or Are we good either way? Because that's going to be the final question there. Like that's something we're going to be looking at. But realistically, if we do get into playoffs, I'm just really hoping we're not going against Oklahoma, honestly, because like they're basically our kryptonite. But then again, you know, I talked about how Georgia, how we're their kryptonite, but they tend to do really well in revenge games, and who knows? Like it all depends on who we're going against. But do I think we're a natty team for 2025? No. I'm thinking more like 2026, 2027. Like I think we could shoot the moon for those years.
I mean, yeah, you said a lot, but in terms of like going against Oklahoma, Alabama is most likely going to be placed probably in terms of like seeding. They're probably going to be like the 12th team. They're probably going to be either the last one in or the first one out. I mean, because they don't control their own destiny anymore, and they lost by 3 scores today, and that's just a bad way to lose. And what you saying last year, the college football playoff has only been it's only been the 12 team field for 2 years now, and now last year with Texas they lost, but they weren't on their third loss. Alabama is
Yeah.
on their third loss, and I think that holds a lot of weight. I mean, with like I said, Miami got a strong case to me, in my opinion. I'm not no Canes fan, I'm not no Canes advocate or nothing like that, but they got a strong case because, like I said, they beat Notre Dame, and that's a team who Alabama was who we finally moved ahead of them this week. They beat Notre Dame, and then they got the common opponent in Alabama. The common opponent, like I said, is FSU. They beat FSU. Alabama did not
Yeah.
beat FSU, and now they're, like I said, that third loss. Nobody in the field has a third loss but them. So it's just like, and
No.
they have the worst third loss, and now they conference championship and losing by 3 scores and stuff like that. They said they wouldn't punish a team for losing their conference championship game, but it's how you lose it. That's how the committee's going to look at it. You rush for 3 yards, -3 yards. That is terrible. Like they do all these hypotheticals with the Big Ten and stuff, and they say how the SEC will roll over the Big Ten. I'm not no SEC homer, and I'm not no Big Ten guy, but Ohio State would go out there and they wouldn't have no -3 yards. So that's just terrible what we saw tonight. But it's a lot that played into that. We're gonna get into that later. But yeah,
Oh, for sure. And I can't help but wonder if our playoff position hinges on Duke, Virginia for the ACC title game. Like it's like I'm just kind of like wondering if it does in a way, because I mean, like it wouldn't have years ago, but right now with the 12 team, and if Virginia wins, wow. But like Duke's winning, there's going to be a lot of questions throughout these next 12 hours after this.
yeah. But with Virginia, if Virginia won, that wouldn't be an upset because Duke is 84. But if Duke won, the ACC they were at first looking at not having any teams in there. But now with Bama losing, they might be able to squeeze 2 teams in there because Virginia will be 11-2, and then Miami, like I said, I just broke down the case sheet with Miami having a better compelling argument than Bama, so they might be able to get 2 teams in there. That's why I'm kind of skeptical with how I view Alabama's playoff seeding, but Alabama has a strong resume, still the same. I mean, but this loss just hurts. I mean, it's not losing; it's just the way that they lose. And I think the committee gonna look at that. You lose by 3 scores, and then it's like I said, offense did nothing all day. I mean, Josh Simpson, I don't know what exactly is the problem with him, but he hasn't been the same guy since they played Missouri. So it's just like he's looking bad. So and they had their chances too. I mean, Ryan Williams. I mean, he had a lot of their offense today, but he still had those critical drops that really hurts the offense. And you can't really the wins were covering it up earlier in the year, but now they've lost 2 games because of it. They lost the Oklahoma game and they lost this game because of it. So it's just like you go into the postseason, it's no margin for error. So in terms of them being like a championship team, they don't have the offense to take them there. Unfortunately, I thought that would.
No.
I never thought that would be the case. I thought it was going to be a defensive issue, but it's the offense. They don't have the offense to sustain a 3 to 4 game run to take them to a championship. So honestly, if they do get in the playoffs, I think they're gonna be like a 12 seed. I just don't know who they. That 12 seed play like the what the who does the 12 who would the 12 seed play?
The 12 seed would be playing the 5 seed, obviously, but
Yeah,
the
and the
5
5 seed
seed.
is that's Texas Tech, but the Texas Tech probably gonna move up. I mean, Georgia gonna get the bye. They're the SEC champs, so they're gonna get the bye. And Texas Tech will probably be a 5 seed or the 3 seed. I'm not sure,
Yeah, I
but
think
as long as
Tet was number 4 going into today, but now they're
yeah they
like,
won.
uh-huh. They're gonna be number 3 regardless, but
As long as Indiana don't get blew out, how Bama got blew out tonight, it shouldn't really be too much movement in the top four. But in terms of who Bama will play, if they do get into the 11 seed, because the group of five gonna be the 12 seed. So, and I'm gonna get into that later. James Madison ain't even all that either. I looked at them last night, but Alabama did. But if Alabama, I ain't gonna hate on them though. I ain't gonna hate on James Madison. They won their conference championship game. Alabama didn't. So Alabama don't have that luxury to really talk about where they should be seated, like I said earlier. But like I said, it'll just be interesting to see how they play it out tomorrow because Alabama will probably be the 11th seed. They'll probably be playing the 6 to the 5 seed. So it'll be interesting to see who those are.
oh, B Jammin says they believes a Duke win helps Alabama, but after watching Bama's lack of effort, play calling, lack of heart, probably just be 1 and out in the playoffs. Relative role.
That's the
Yeah,
truth though.
yeah. I mean, we look
Because
like a 1 and out team if we do get into playoffs,
and
honestly.
and honestly, I was just disappointed with not seeing Ryan Grubb's adjustments. I thought he was going get in his bag, and really get creative after seeing the running game not doing much. But it looked like they were scared. They were playing conservative, and I don't know if that's because Ty Simpson got an injury going on behind the scenes. I don't know if that's because they just not confident in their pass game. But I thought Ryan Grubb was going to be more creative and really dig up stuff to really attack Georgia. But you saw we just dived into the numbers. They went I think they went 2 for 11 on third down throughout the entire game. And and like I said, 2 turnovers. Georgia really ain't even do nothing on offense. Because Georgia Alabama gave them, like I said, the block punt. That's a short field.
Oh man.
The interception, that was another short field. And then I think, was it a fumble? It was another turnover. I forgot what it was.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of them today.